Hello, my happy YouTube friends. How are you today on our little drive today? Our little drive on our way to work today in this nice, hot weather we are having right now. If you haven't figured by now, I live in the southern part of the United States, so it can get cooking down here. I mean, we can get hot down here. It's crazy. And every once in a while, it'll slap just a little hint of that humidity on you. Just a little bit, to really try and get you. Fortunately, for your boy, we are a slender human, so we don't suffer too much in the heat, and it takes a lot to get me sweating. But you can still feel it. I prefer the heat over the cold any day. Cook me at 100 all day, every day. Just bake us alive if you have to, than being cold. I dislike being cold. I'm not sure what got me so turned off on being cold, but I did live up north for many years, and working in the cold weather, that's brutal right there. I mean, that's brutal working out in the cold. You can, it'd be freezing to death, but then you're working, so you're building up momentum in your body, and your body's kind of getting warmed up, but it's cold outside. You start to sweat a little bit. And then you kind of slow down a little bit. It makes you more cold. It's a weird phenomenon working in the cold. It takes a lot out of you, but I was in my 20s at that time, so even though I did that for years, it didn't affect me too bad, and I could do it again right now. It doesn't bother me. I can do pretty much any job out there. I've worked several different kinds of jobs, but I prefer not to go through that kind of suffering for a few dollars on the hour. It's not like companies are paying general workers a lot of money. You're just muscle. You're just a body filling a role. That's all they want you for. They already have their core contingent of people that they count on to make operations happen, and that's who they pay good money to. Anybody else coming along in a company is just an employee. And everybody wants to make big bucks working for a company, but there's kind of two things to making a lot of money working for a company. Either one, you either provide a great value to that company so that they really foresee, okay, we got to pay this guy because this guy is really making us a lot of money. That happens a lot in sales jobs. Okay? When you are a keen salesman and you are really killing it, if you're making the business a lot of sales, you are providing a huge value to the company, financially speaking, in terms of business. So they generally reward you accordingly via a commission. And another way that a company will pay you a lot of money is if you hold a lot of responsibility within the company. Oh, how come my boss, he makes so much money and we don't make nothing? Well, because he's the boss, because he has responsibility on it happening. Okay? Now, if he's a good boss, he's able to have the operation run so smoothly, like it doesn't seem like he's doing much. But at the end of the day, he is responsible for things that go down. Okay? If you're working for a company and say a big mistake happens, okay, this, say a particular order that y'all were putting together, manufacturing, getting together, something happened. It was mislabeled, it was improperly put together, and it gets shipped off to a customer, and the customer says, well, this product isn't even right. You owe us all the money we just sent you and a shipment for free. You just wasted our time. So it just cost your company that you work for a lot of money. Now, who is your company, the head ups in your company, corporate office people, who are they going to chase down? They're not going to come on the shop floor and walk directly up to you and say, hey, you messed up big time. What's going on? No. First point of contact is your boss, aka the person who makes money. Why? Because he is responsible for the operation. So they go to him and they're sending him the nasty, dirty email. They're calling him on the phone. They're going down to the shop and they are talking to him directly. Okay? That generally is the consensus of how it's supposed to work. Okay? And then your boss comes to you or whoever it is on the floor and does his investigation, finding out what went wrong, how can we fix this, what happened. A genuine mistake, nobody above your boss should be coming directly to you, because what's the need for your boss then? Okay? I've seen this happen in jobs I've had where they've just bypassed management. Upper management has bypassed middle management, and they'll come out on the floor straight to the assembly line or the shop level and be trying to talk to people. What's going on here? What you guys do? You guys mess this up big time. Hold on. What? I mean, it could have been a genuine mistake. You kind of look bad as a company when you do that. And that's one of the benefits to being with a good company, which I'm fortunate. Right now I'm working with a good company. Every company has its faults, but right now I'm with a very good company. They generally go through the channels correctly, and I've noticed that about this company. It's much better at that. Going through the proper way of how to treat people. It's not an instant blame game. So I feel sorry for people that work for companies like that. I know people that work for companies like that, and that's kind of unfortunate. But other than that, I kind of kept the windows down a little bit because the AC in this car, the back half works, but the front half doesn't work. So it kind of gets cool, but not that cool, So I'm so used to just driving with the windows down. But that doesn't make for good audio recording. Me driving with the windows down and everybody listening to the coming down the road, But I guess that was my little rant today. Kudos to companies that tend to go through that process when an issue arises, and thumbs down, boo-hoos on companies that don't do that. People will go through a lot of crap at work if they're treated with respect. They really will. I mean, people will work for peanuts, and they will do some of the crappiest work, hardest work, as long as they're being treated with dignity and respect, because they probably don't get that elsewhere in their life. So that's kind of all I ever demand from places that I work at is I'll clean the toilet, I'll shovel the crap, I don't care. Give me the hardest job. Shoveling sawdust off a sawmill floor doesn't bother me. I'll do it all day. As long as you're just treating me with dignity and respect as a human. Don't down talk me. There's no need for that, okay? You do nothing when you down talk people but show who you are as a person. Maybe this message could be meant for that particular boss, aka supervisor. If you're out there, you might need to hear this message. nobody in my mind is coming in particular, but just out there in the world, learn how to engage in some jolly conversation with people. You don't have to cut it up with employees. You ain't got to be a comedian. You just have to talk with people with respect, okay? If you have some bad employees that aren't doing what they're supposed to do, you don't have to be uncouth and rude about it. You can just be like, look, James, let's just say James. Look, James, this has happened like 3 times in a row. You keep making the same mistake, What are we going to do to fix it? How are we going to get over this issue? Because something's happening in this setup where you, James, you keep making the same mistake, and you're costing the company some time, you're costing the company some money, and you're making it harder on your fellow employees. So my suggestion is that you should maybe do it this way, okay? Let me see you doing it my way for a few days, okay? And let's see how that pans out as opposed to doing it your way, because we're doing it your way right now, James. You're doing it James' way, and it's not working out for the company. And I like you as a person. I want to keep you employed here. Everybody needs a job, but this position is not working for you doing this. So you say that to him, You don't have to be mean. You just be to the point. Okay? And then James is either A, he's going to start doing it your way, going with your game plan, or B, he's going to continue to do the James way, and then he's going to just have to get the James butt out the door. That's it. It's pretty cut and dry. It seems hard, but that's how it needs to be. But my biggest point on this conversation is not to berate James, because in James' mind and in his perception and his life experience, he truly might be cemented in his way in thinking that that is the best way to do that job, okay? And he thinks that he's doing an excellent job. He might not be able to see the other factors on how it's not working out and how it's costing his place money. So that's kind of my thought on how being a boss or being a supervisor, you can kind of get around that having to dog people and beat them into submission to do your willpower, okay? It's bad enough that the majority of us are financial slaves. We don't have to be mental slaves on top of that. Do you get what I'm saying? So practice not berating people, practice not downing people, just practice trying to come to a solution for the problem, because that's all employees are. They're just a solution to a problem. We have a problem. We need somebody to do this. Okay, solution, hire somebody. That's all we are to a company. We are just solutions to the ever many problems that arise in running a company. I love everybody, and I'll talk to everybody later. Peace.